Hello and welcome to Maple Flavored Yoga. My name is Andy and this class is going to be all about breaking down plank pose. If you've made your way to this channel, be sure to click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new classes I release on Mondays. Also, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below. I would love to hear from you. These small actions help support me in continuing to create free yoga content on this channel, and I really appreciate it. So, as most people know, if you've ever seen yoga or have you been to a yoga class, plank pose is something that your teacher may ask you to do on a fairly regular basis depending on what class you're in. It's definitely considered a staple pose of an asana practice. So it's really important to make sure that you prepare your body or you know how to get into this pose safely with proper alignment so that you don't potentially injure yourself. One of the most important things is to make sure that your wrists are warmed up before you're putting a lot of weight on them. I've created a video for this and I will post that link below in the comments for you to check out as well. So to get started, we will come on to our hands and our knees in tabletop pose. So this is where we will take time to really get our upper body prepared for this pose. So we want to have our wrists directly below our shoulders. Our palms are flat on the floor. Our fingers are spread nice and wide. And we really want to feel the mounds of our fingers pressing into the mat. We also want to make sure that the inside of our elbow is pointing forward. We don't want to have them pointing back like this. We want to make sure that our internal elbow part is pointing forward. That really allows us to access the shoulder girdle in an anatomical way so you're not going to be straining any of those joints. Also, we can have a nice spacious neck here. So if you're finding that you're really sinking in, you want to push the ground away. Our neck is nice and long. Our gaze is looking straight down, or maybe a bit forward if that's more comfortable for you, but we don't want to be looking back when we're in plank. So taking some time to really feel how this feels in your body and kind of start to create that muscle memory so that when you get into plank, you're automatically getting into this type of a position. So I'll probably have to slide up my mat a bit here. So we'll take a moment to set up again. And with this, we want to make sure that our belly button is pulling to our spine so that really, so that our hip points and our rib cage are kind of knitted together and it really activates our core. She agrees. She's all about core work, this one. Hey, doctor. Okay, so our neck is spacious. We're pushing into the mat actively with our hands. Our belly button is drawing towards our spine, activating our core. So to start, we'll just step our left foot back. We want to try and stack our heel over top of our toes, but if that's really difficult for you, that is okay too, but that's kind of what we're hoping for. And then if you're ready, you can step your right foot back. And you want to make sure that you're not sagging through the middle and that you're not pushing your bum in the air. You want to have a nice, solid plank pose here. It is tough. So we'll come down and you can come into child's pose if that feels good. If your arms are feeling really saturated, you can bring them down by your side as well. And just take a few breaths. Allow yourself to feel whatever sensations you were feeling from that pose. It's a big shape. It uses a lot of core strength, so we're really tapping into that solar plexus energy as well. Okay, we'll make our way back to set up here. So our hands are shoulder width apart, wrists are below shoulders, pushing into the mat. You can really grip the mat with your fingertips as well, but we want to make sure that our palms are really firmly rooted into the mat. Spacious neck, we're growing out our spine. This time we'll step our right foot back, and maybe you just want to stay here, and that's okay. You don't have to come into a full plank, but if you're feeling ready for it, step your other foot back, really engage that core, knit your ribs together. So I'm actively pushing out the top of my head. And your glutes are engaged here, but not so much clenching. They're activated, you're really activated through your lower body. And we'll come down slowly again. Coming back into child's pose. You can drop your head here or bring your arms down to your side, whatever feels good. You can always do forearm plank as well as an option if you have a hand or a wrist injury, or if it just feels awkward, or if you feel like you've been using your wrists a lot and you want to kind of give them a break before you potentially overuse them. Or if you just want to try something new, forearm plank is very similar to regular plank, but obviously you're not using your forearms in the same way. So I find that I get a lot more saturation into my shoulders, which, yeah, that's just what I found in my forearm plank practice. Or if I'm in dolphin or something, so excuse me, Dr. Claw. So the setup is very similar, except we want to have our elbows directly below our shoulders instead. And you can have your hands flat on the floor, or sometimes people like to clasp their hands together. So for the first one, we will try our palms flat, and then the second one, we will try our palms together, unless you know you prefer one over the other. So same thing, we're growing nice and tall out of the top of our head. We're still pushing into the mat the same, so there is some rounding in the upper back. And then we'll step our right foot back, and then our left, and then adjust yourself so you're not hiking or sinking. You want to have a nice, strong back and core. 3 breaths here. Last one. If you're shaking, I am too. And we'll come back into child's pose again, taking whichever arm variation feels best for you. And you can always rock from side to side as well if that feels good. So again, we'll set up for forearm plank, and this time we're going to have it so that our hands are clasping in the center, but we still want to make sure that our elbows are shoulder width apart. We don't want to start collapsing in either way. So always take time, always take time to set yourself up, and so you're in proper alignment. So you can clasp your fingers. Some people like to hold their fingers in like a prayer pose. Try both. And then when you're ready, you can step your left foot back and then your right. Or you can keep a knee on the floor. always do that as well. So really pushing into the mat, your elbows and your feet. Still breathing into your belly. We'll do 2 more breaths. Just count. Knee down, other knee down. Then we can come back into child's pose. And then when you're ready, you can sit on your heels if that feels okay. Placing your hands and your thighs through palm to the sky. And just allow yourself to absorb that experience that we just shared. Whew. Right. Come back to the middle of your mat, have a seat. And just allow yourself to give thanks and gratitude to your body for working so hard. And thank yourself for doing this short class. We'll bring our hands to heart center and bowing our heads. And I just want to thank you so much for allowing me to assist in your yoga practice. Know that wherever this life takes you, that you are seen, you are loved, and you are divine.